Hello, and welcome to episode 190 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm James.
and today we're talking about our experiences in Dominaria United Limited.
Yeah. I think I'm about I don't know, 10 or 11 drafts in. And I think you said you're 7-ish.
I just did my 7th draft on Monday.
Yep. So we got a little bit of experience under our belt, and we're gonna break down what we've noticed so far.
Yes, I've played a lot of those. Your 11 drafts and my 7 drafts are a lot of games.
Yes.
And I mean, if you think about how many drafts we did of, I don't know, Guilds of Ravnica,
Mm-hmm.
probably did more. We've probably done more Dominaria United drafts than we ever did of those sets.
I'm 100% confident.
So, if you want to get at us with your experiences in Dominaria Unlimited or like thoughts that you might have that we didn't touch on, you can get at us at our social media links that are all in the description below.
Yeah, including our Discord. There's a link down there if you want to join in the conversation. There was a lot of chatter on Discord this week on pretty active community, so if that's something you're interested in, hop on in there. There's 2 ways you can support the show. We would appreciate it if you used one or both of them. The first is no cost to you. It's our TCG Player affiliate link. If you're looking to pick up anything from Dominaria United, any singles, sealed product, or whatnot, use our affiliate link. We'll get a percentage to help keep the show going. It's tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Like I said, just navigate to the site with that link, and we'll get a percentage to help keep our lights on, pay our hosting fees, and what have you. The other way is through our Patreon, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. If you like what we do, we'd appreciate it if you pitched a couple bucks in and helped us continue doing that. Patrons get access to about another hour of content out of us. They get our pre-show, which may or may not be Magic related, just kind of 2 buddies catching up. If you're into that kind of thing, or you just like us that much, you like hearing us talk, patrons get that as a bonus. They also get access to our show notes, which sometimes are pretty sparse, like this week. Sometimes they're a lot more detailed. Either way, they give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about that upcoming week. And patrons also get put on my mailing list. Roughly bi-monthly, I send something out to the patrons as a thank you. So if you want any of those things, hop on over to patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg and chip a couple bucks in. We also have a YouTube channel, Casual Tryhard MTG on YouTube, and Brian's been recording his drafts for Dominaria United. You said you got 5 of them in the queue?
Got 5 of them up right now, and then we have 2 more that are going to go up. I'm going to try, fingers crossed, to have like a more regular schedule. I know that for Streets, I was putting them out every day for like 3 weeks, and then that format got old pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to like pace myself both in my gameplay and in my release schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So this week I did get all fired up and I released 1 every day.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you've been watching them since this is Thursday. If not, go back. And then I'm going to try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday going forward. And like that ends up being like 25-ish drafts with like, this is a really short like set life because we're doing the like fall winter set thing.
Yeah.
So
Brothers War
I think I can,
coming soon.
Yeah, really soon. So I think I can do like a draft every day.
Yep.
And if I like the format and I'm doing more, I'll release more. But I'm gonna try to do like 3 a week till the end of the set's life.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to touch on Brothers War real quick before we start our limited deep dive?
Sure. Are we talking about the card that the community is pretty split on if it's fake or if it's real?
Well, also the thing that I can't remember if I mentioned during the pre-show last week or the actual show last week.
Go ahead.
There was an image floating around of a Mishra's bauble.
Oh, yeah.
Did I talk about that on the show?
You did bring it up. I think maybe it's a pre-show.
Okay.
Like the symbol looked too sharp.
Yeah.
It was like beat up or something.
Yeah, it looked like somebody had pulled it out of their pocket. It was not flat.
Okay.
But it was an old border Mishra's bauble with the like the art style that the some of the Secret Lair bonus cards have had, where it's like a blueprint kind of. It's like a piece of art in front of a blueprint. That's the style art that it was in the old border.
Okay.
So people are speculating there may be like a mystical archive kind of antiquities, whatever slot in Brothers War. But yeah, the
Would
set
make
symbol
sense.
was weird. It was like it was just a gear, but it was like super well defined. And a lot of times the set symbols are pretty muddy, and there's not a whole lot of detail in them. So people are kind of split on if that's real or not also.
Yeah. And then with a different set symbol,
Yep.
there's Elishnorn.
Well, the Mystical Archives had a different set symbol than Strixhaven did.
Oh. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, they were like a scroll.
Yeah, so then there's this Elishnorn that is 1 white for a 3/3. That when a creature enters enters the battlefield under your control, your creatures get +1/+1. If a creature enters under your opponent's control, their creatures all get -1/-1 till the end of turn. On one hand, like I read that card and I go, they would totally print that. On the other hand, if we think back, like the leaked Jin Cataxius that we got,
right,
was kind of a water had flash and like I think countered the first spell and didn't have like a subset of spells.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of better than what we ended up with.
Same thing with Shieldred.
Yeah, the Shieldred that was floating around the internet before Shieldred was like a constructed playable Magic card, as opposed to the current Shieldred, which will have fun being swept by a 4-mana rare in Limited, which happened to it today. I was like, oh, that's gonna suck for you. So I don't know how much stock to put in it, but like you look at the card and you go like, yes,
they would print that in
they
2022.
would print this card.
Yeah,
like no doubt. Like it doesn't say like draw 8 cards on it, so you're like, yeah, there's a chance.
Right.
But I don't know, like, don't go buying a bunch of like white cards for your deck in anticipation of this card being real.
Yeah, because who knows?
Who knows? Like, as you have demonstrated, you can make some very high quality proxies on the with the use of the internet.
That is true.
So like a skilled person with some time can definitely make a card that looks very magic-y.
Yep.
But like I was seeing stuff, people were like, oh, the borders aren't perfectly centered and blah blah blah. The set symbol looks weird. I'm like, calm down. Yeah. Calm down.
Well, was it also like crinkled?
No, it was flat.
Okay. There might have been another card that was leaked also though. Then. Because I thought I saw there was another card that was all like crinkled up and torn, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so I think that I'm not putting a ton of stock in it, but it is interesting.
Yeah, who knows? It's a rumor.
Yeah. So let's talk
talk about Limited?
Dominaria Limited. Yeah. So what are your like initial thoughts on the format? Just like broad strokes, big picture.
It took me a couple drafts to kind of realize what was going on. Okay. I tried drafting, like the first 2 drafts I did, I just drafted like mid-range good stuff piles and got absolutely clowned, like 0 wins, both of them. And then I think the 3rd draft I did, I drafted a green-blue like ramp deck, like bunch of kicker stuff, bunch of card draw, whatever, and went 4-3. And I think I've only had 1 like not winning record since then. I have definitely moved on from there. I've did almost exclusively some version of Mardu, either red, white, white, black, black, red, whatever, with like an aggro slant, and I've been doing very, very well.
Yeah. So I had a similar experience. I think I went 3-3, 1-3, 3-3, 1-3. And like was just kind of like mid-rangey good stuff. And like I had like a control deck, a blue-white control deck that kind of traded 1 for 1, which you can't do.
Right.
right? Just you can't.
Right.
And like there are you have to, you either, this is feeling like Keldheim, where you're either aggressive or you're like multicolor, like tons of value good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because those decks go over the top of your like regular like 2-color pair archetype that they kind of designed into the set.
Yeah.
Right? Because you get the best removal spell from every color.
Right.
As opposed to just the best removal spell from 2 colors.
Yeah.
You get the best mythics from and rares from 5 colors as opposed to the best mythics and rares from 2 colors.
Yeah.
So you get a very different like set of cards you get to play. So you either have to get under that or you have to play it.
Yeah.
But like being in the middle doesn't work.
Yeah. Like I said, the
Right.
first 2 that I did were both, Sultai-ish, Jund-ish, whatever. And they were both very bad. And actually, I think the only other one that I had a losing record with was also like Jund-ish and was not great.
Gotcha. So I think that like there's this balance where you have to like play to the board early.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, like, you're gonna get run over by really like the red-white decks.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to be able to go like big over the top of anything else that you play.
Right.
Right? And like, but if you're the like red-white decks, like you have this very narrow window where you have to like get in damage and like win games by punishing your opponent for stumbling, kind of the normal.
Yeah, normal
like,
limited
red,
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, normal red aggro stuff. But then you get to this point where like it's a lot of, okay, if they have a pump spell here, I die. But if I don't die, I win on the crackback.
Yeah.
Or I had one where like I was a red white deck. It was my 1-for-7 wins. It was the first one I had any mana problems at all. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I just have to attack, and if my trumpet blast or whatever the kicker trumpet blast,
yeah,
if this resolves and they have no removal spell, I win.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do anything to me, I lose.
Yeah.
They did something, I lost.
Yeah. I mean, that card's kind of bonkers, though, right?
Yeah, both of them are. The white one
and the red black one,
the inspired charge.
Yeah.
I couldn't kick it. I don't even know if I had a black source in my deck to kick it.
Yeah.
It was just trumpet blast.
Well, that one's kicker red.
This kicker, no, the heroic charge is kicker red.
Oh yeah.
2 white, +1, +2/+1, and you kick it, they get trample for 1 in the red.
Yep.
And the other one is 2 in a red, gets +2/+0, kicker black.
If a creature dies,
to draw a card.
Yeah.
So but you just kind of get to these points where you're like, all right, well, I have like 2 more creatures than you have blockers. I guess I win this game because I have a pump spell or something dumb like that.
Yeah.
But there's
it's
also
super easy to get more creatures than blockers too, because like everything brings a friend. There's so many cards that bring a buddy.
But like this definitely feels like if you play against like the walls deck and they can kind of keep up for a little while, they can bury you.
Well, so that was another deck that I wanted to talk to you about. I've tried to draft that deck a couple times and it's never come together, and I just end up with, some variation of my Mardu aggro deck. But I've heard rumblings that that's supposed to be like the premier deck of the format. Have you had a chance to draft it yet?
That was the first deck I drafted.
Okay.
I drafted Abzan Walls. I took a Blight Pile, pick 1, and then pick 2 or 3, like, was it Winged On, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
The white 03?
Yeah.
That deck works because that card is not
absurd.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is just wild how good that card is.
Yeah.
So I think that deck is as good as the number of Winged On whatevers they are. Like I played against someone who had 2.
Yeah.
But like I was playing mono Wraths and I had a Choking Miasma and I was like, okay, if they play the wall, I sweep all the birds and then I go from there.
Mm-hmm.
They played the wall, got 5 birds, and I swept the birds.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But if I didn't have that sweeper, lost the game.
Yeah.
Like on the spot, was done.
So, like, how do you go about drafting that deck? Do you just take random walls if there's nothing else in the pack and hope you get past one of that white guy, or do you, like, see the white guy and then immediately start grabbing walls?
I think so. I think if you see the white guy, like, you can just go into the deck. Like, it's open at that point. Like, fourth pick, the white 03.
Mm-hmm.
I think you think the deck's open, and then most of the walls are at common.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not hard.
And the only color that doesn't have walls is red, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The blue walls are, well, one of the blue walls is a win condition.
Yeah.
But, like, the best two are Blight Pile and then the white one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, like, Blight Pile can win you a game. And I think closely behind that, and it pairs really well with the white wall, is Gibbering Barricade.
Yeah.
Right, like, I definitely won some games where I was like, chump block with my birds, sack them, draw some gain some life, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Right, okay, get another wall, get some more birds, and just kind of keep it going that way.
Mm-hmm.
The deck I played, like, I had, like, it wasn't the best. Like, we were testing some things, but, like, Children's Restoration or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if they kill my Blight Pile, gotta be able to get it back. That's the only way I'm dealing damage in this game is Blight Pile.
Yeah.
I think that, like, what it does is it simultaneously takes care of the aggressive decks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you play a Gibbering Barricade, like, they can't.
Yeah,
like,
you never
like,
get
here's a
through it.
2/4.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, a Blight Pile, here's a 3/3 for 2.
Yeah.
They can't get through, and then that lets you get to your end game of either wing whatever, or like Blight Piling them out of the game. Like, you just slow the game down long enough that it doesn't matter. But I don't know, like, it's hard because, like, if you take all these walls and then you don't get one of the 3 walls that can win you a game,
mm-hmm.
then you have a non-functional deck.
Right.
Right? So, like, I guess it's how much do you value the blue one, coral, whatever?
Yeah.
How much do you value that? Like, do you feel like that's an actual win condition?
Right.
And then the black and the white one are actual win conditions that can win you a game.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you're just in this spot where you're like, if you're wrong, like, you just have no way to win a game.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I meant. Like, I don't think you can, like, pack one, pick one, decide you're going to be in the walls deck. Like, it's something that you've got to kind of keep in the back of your mind as you're drafting. Mm-hmm. But if you're, like, you know, pick 5 or 6 and there's nothing in the pack, but you see a, you know, Blight Pile or something, like, is that when you know, start keeping a lookout for walls?
Yeah, like, Blight Pile's weird. I've seen it super late. And I think it's one of the things that, like, if you're not doing walls, you don't want it. Most people don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's, like, it's in that weird spot that, like, if you are the domain deck, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, all you want to do is, like, have a blocker early in the game. So, you can play it and you're fine. Like, I've put is it Feral, whatever the Abomination is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I put those in, like, one of my controlling decks just because I'm like, it's a 3/2. It trades up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I wish this was a Blight Pile. This would be so much better. Because I can block their stupid 2/2 and still have my creature.
And it didn't cost you 2 life.
It didn't cost me 2 life. Like, all the things here are bad.
Yeah.
But it's better than just, like, getting smashed by a 3/3 4 turns in a row.
Yeah.
Or getting smashed by this 2/2 multiple turns. So, like, if you, like, you can take it if you're more controlling and, like, back into being walls, I think. Or being, like, walls light.
Yeah.
Where you have, like, that, you might have, like, a Blight Pile and 2 Gibbering Barricades. And maybe the game just comes down to you, like, dealing your opponent 3, like, across, like, 3 a turn for 2 or 3 turns, and you win the game that way.
Yeah.
Because, like, you did other stuff that, like, just having a 3/3 speed bump and a 2/4 speed bump was good enough.
Mm-hmm. And then
also, the
you
green, the O2, the green O2, I've secretly wanted that card in decks.
Is that the one that gets you a land?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I wish like I had one of those. I could maybe cut a land.
Yeah.
And like have an extra body. Like this is fine. Like basically it just gains you 2 life because it like blocks a 2/2 a lot of the time. But hey, it got me a card and gained me 2 life. Like that's some percentage of a row. So
Sure.
like I'll hey,
that's how we're measuring cards. It's a reasonable percentage of an euro, so it's good enough.
hey, like joint exploration is like
Yeah.
Euro minus the life.
That's right.
It's like 60% of Euro.
And the
So
ability
I'm
to be a
testing it out.
6/6.
Yeah. There's fine. Okay. Maybe it's only 20% Euro. But still, percents of Euro.
That's right.
No, but like that card like can really hold together. It holds together domain decks. Like it's just a wall. It helps you hit your land drops in your stupid walls deck.
Yep.
Like it kind of does everything. So, but I do agree. Like I think you get like a 5th or 6th pick blight pile that might go in your domain deck, but like you could pivot to walls if you got the white wall in pack 2.
Yeah.
Or you get the white wall. I think if you got the white wall like turn 2 or pick 2 or pick 3, I think you're just like, I think I'm walls now. Like I have the best one.
Yeah.
And the clockwork bridge is super annoying too.
Yeah. That was the
Right.
next one I was going to ask you about was the colorless ones. Well, the clockwork bridge is the white one, right?
The white one.
Yeah.
Right, but like you get it down and like, okay, fine. I don't get to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And then when it can't block stuff anymore, right? Like in the late game, you're just like tap your 5/5.
Yeah.
Right? And God forbid that like they have a bunch of removal and you're down to 1 creature. And it's like, fine, like this is just 3 mana kill your thing forever.
Yep.
Okay. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not as good as a 1 mana tapper, but like most 1 mana tappers don't get to block 2/2s forever.
Right.
So like that card's super annoying. I've not played the 1 mana 03, the colorless one that like lets you attack with your walls.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that one's like where the deck wants to be anyway, do you?
No, like I think you're winning with Blight Pile and Birds.
Yeah.
I think that is not. I guess if you have to, fine. But like, yeah, I'm not. That's not what I'm looking to do. I played 2 of the 4 mana 1/3.
The one that goes to get you a wall.
Yeah, because I just looked at it as like it's extra bird wall, it's extra blight pile, right? And like all you want is to draw your bird wall,
right?
Like please let me draw the wall that makes birds, please, please, please. So yeah, like going to get like having that as like a tutor just makes your deck better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a great body, but I mean we've played like maybe worse. What was the like 4 mana? It got cost reduction, but it was like 4 mana 2/2 that draws a card. That like.
Oh yeah, the one from Innistrad.
Or yeah, no, there's a white one from a single of AFR where like has cost reduction based on the number of creatures that attack. Yeah.
That was AFR.
Like,
I thought it was Midnight Hunt.
Maybe it was. It all smushes together.
Yeah, it's a 4 mana 2/2, and like if you attack, it gets cost less or whatever. Yeah.
Right, like that was a playable card, and this one, like, synergizes with like your deck's theme.
Yeah.
Has the same number of stats, power and toughness wise, right? Adds to 4.
Right.
And like, doesn't just draw you a card, draws you specifically the best on-theme card in your deck at that time. Right? And that 2/2, people were like, ooh, sweet 2/2. And it's like, yeah, this kind of does a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
So like I think it's good. I don't know if it's great, but like if you only have 2 or 3 ways to win the game in your walls deck,
you need to find them.
You need to find them, right? You can't just like sit around and hope you draw them. There's not like a tap wall draw a card wall, right? Like, so you've just got to like get to them somehow, and I think that is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like gives you a bird, or gives you an extra point of damage.
Yep.
And like the walls are super annoying to get through.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have a 4. I had a 4/4 and I attacked into two of the one, like they blocked with like 2/1/1 tokens, 2/1/3s, and it was like I only get to kill 2 things. This is so awkward.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll kill these 2.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, like the walls, I've not seen, like the first draft I did got walls pretty easily. Went 3/3. It was an okay version. And then I've played against some like walls decks where I'm just like, how am I supposed to beat this?
Yeah.
So it's it is really strong because it does, like I said, it blunts aggression and
Has inevitability.
has inevitability. It doesn't go over the top the same way like the 5 color like piles do.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes over it, like it has that like I can make 5 birds and now you're on like a 3-turn clock.
Yeah.
Or my black pile is going to like
Kill you
5
over the course
for
of
3
3
turns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like either way it's just like, all right, like you have to answer this one specific threat, and if you don't, I'm going to win.
So speaking of the 5 color piles, I know we talked about them a little bit already, but like what do you like what kind of signals are you picking up on that puts you in the 5 color piles? Because I think the red green and the blue green versions of Domain are different than the 5 color piles.
Yes.
So there's
like the
there's kind of 2 hidden archetypes in this set. That's why I wanted to pull these 2 out separate. Like
so yeah,
the walls is its own thing, and then the 5 color deck is its own thing.
So I've only played one like really kind of true 5 color deck, and sometimes they're not like 5 color,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it might be right, like I got like 2 rare sweepers,
Mm-hmm.
black, and red, and I was already kind of leaning Jund, so I like got this black sweeper and got some fixing, and so one, like you are looking for powerful uncommons and rares that are preferably, but not always, a single mana pip. Right? So that way, or like a single splash mana pip. Like I had the Mons, whatever, the 3/3 menace guy.
Yeah.
That puts lands into play or makes goblins.
Just kind of exactly what you want in a 5 color deck.
Yeah, and well I was like black green.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can cast that.
Yeah.
Like I'll be able to figure out a way to cast that and make my mana work. Like I know I'm not gonna cast it always on turn 4, but like later in the game it's still gonna be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Even if I don't get it down to turn 6 or 7, hopefully I'll have stuff to do in between then. But you want those kind of things, sweepers, fixing. But the decks that like I've played against, you're just like every card they play is a banger. Right? They just like, it's like, what is the best card in the format for this? And it's like, oh yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. I'll figure out a way to cast it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just like, if we've all started a draft where you like take the rare, and then like there's like a good gold uncommon that doesn't share colors with your rare.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I can take this common that's like a C. Yeah, an on-color common that's like a C, or I can take this like B+ gold card. And I was like, well, maybe I'll end up playing this and then like it happens again, and maybe you get a card that's like one of the like, or you get a gold card that's your rare's color plus one of the colors from your.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've got all these really powerful cards. I have to figure out how to like tie this together.
Yeah, how to cast them.
Yeah, and then like you prioritize the lands.
So you mentioned like the goblin guy that gets you lands off the top of your deck as a way to like help your mana situation a little bit. And then obviously there's the like that comes into play tap dual lands. Is there like what else is decent in that deck to help your mana? Do you play the dude that filters your mana? Do you play the thing that comes into play, scries 1 and filters your mana?
I've not played the mana fixing dude. I have. I played like a blue-red deck that had like 3 lightning strikes, and I did just immediately kill the first one of those my opponent played.
Just in case.
Because I was like, I feel like this card is bad.
Yeah.
And the only reason you're playing this card that is bad is because you're desperate to make your mana work. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to kill this and hope you don't cast anything the rest of the game.
Yeah.
The whatever crystalline grotto, it still has the grotto problem.
Right.
Of it's not
Put you back a
really
turn.
fixing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I think the tap lands, of course, there's like the bad cultivate.
Yeah.
That gets you.
You kick
I
it,
played
you can make soldiers.
Yeah, I played that. And it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up flooding out because I had these 3 cards in my deck that just wouldn't got lands. Maybe I should have, like, adjusted my mana some to take into account that, like, I had 3 more lands in my deck.
Yeah.
But, like, the soldiers aren't nothing. They, like, let you, like, buy time and chump.
They keep you alive for a couple turns till you can get set up.
I've seen people use the blue pixie to fix their mana.
Yeah. I actually kind of like that card. I've only been blue a handful of times, but that card kind of impressed me.
Yeah, like, it just does so many things.
Yeah, like, downside is it's a phantom monster, right? And that's not terrible.
Does it die if it's targeted?
No, phantom monster. From, like...
Oh, yeah.
From Alpha. Like 3 and a blue.
Yeah, 5 mana.
Yeah.
5 mana. Isn't it 5 mana? Is it...
Oh, is that 5?
Is it 3 and a green? I thought it was 3 and a green was the kicker.
I thought it was 2 and a green was the kicker. Maybe you're right.
Maybe it is.
Maybe you're right.
Anyway, yeah. It's like a bad 3/3 flyer. But, like, you can get games where, like, just a 3/3 flyer is fine.
Yeah.
Right? They're at 6, you play it, and they draw lands for 2 turns, and you win the game.
The cool thing about that guy is he doesn't just fix your mana, he also helps your domain. So, let you get
it changes the land.
Yeah.
What is the black dig through time?
The card's fantastic in this set.
Yes, it's
Shadow
amazing.
Something.
Yeah, the 2 and a black.
Yeah.
We
talked about it in our
yeah, we talked
review.
about it as like, oh, it's a bad dig through time. And it's like, yeah, but a bad dig through time, I guess, in limited is still pretty good.
Yep.
So, I think that it is
Shadow Something or other, I think.
Shadow Prophecy.
Yep.
Yeah, so this card is, like we said, it is good in 3-color decks and absurd in 5 land type decks.
Yeah.
So it is just amazing.
Yep.
But like you can usually get those pretty late. Like I said, you want to be in a situation. So you either want like a card that is a like big time domain payoff at early on, which is gonna push you in that direction.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're making picks based on like maximizing domain, or whenever that situation where I described, where you like have 3 or 4 cards that are of kind of high power level, but like don't really overlap that well in color.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of be like, you know what? The way I'm going to make this work is I'm going to take all the fixing and then just cast all these great cards and, you know, figure it out that way.
Yeah.
But, like, it's one of those things that, like, I think you can sit down and say, like, I'm going to be the 5-color deck, but you always run the risk of, like, train wrecking yourself.
Right.
Right. You see the decks that are, like, really good. 5-color decks. Like, those are the decks you see and you remember. But the person who, like...
never saw 2 of their 5 colors and...
yeah, like, had a handful of 4 cards.
Yeah.
Like, you thought they were, like, Teamer.
Yeah.
But they were really base black, and they just never drew a swamp.
Right.
Right? And you're like, those are the decks you don't remember because, like, they didn't do anything. So, like, having the fixing like the Slimefoot survey or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I had 2 of those, which is like I can do whatever I want. I just have to hit 5 mana and then I get all my colors.
Mm-hmm.
And also that card's absurd. The fact that it's like look at the top 5 or 6 cards, well 5 cards of your deck.
Yeah.
Put the best one on top.
I have
right?
not played a whole lot of green so far, so I have not had the pleasure of casting that card yet.
I guess how many green decks have I played? So I played Abzan Walls. I played The Rock. That was bad.
Yeah.
I was like Green Black Rock Domain. Did not go well.
Yeah.
Like this format has the modern Magic problem of like it's the Junda problem of you can't play a bunch of 1-for-1s when everyone else's cards are 2-for-1s.
Right.
And so I was like, removal spell, and I was like, yeah, that card drew me a card.
Yep.
Or that card ramped me. And it's like, oh, I guess.
So speaking of 2-for-1s, have you played that deck yet?
Which one?
The deck that's just 2-for-1s?
I
had the pleasure of drafting that deck once.
I played a 5-color, I call it 5-color value that had 3 Phyrexian Ragers and the 2 in a blue, the Ether Channeler or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like just a bunch of cards that ETB drew a card.
Yeah, I played a deck
and then removal.
I think I had 4 Phyrexian Ravagers, and then I had 3 of the 3/2 flyer that draws something when it dies.
Oh yeah. I had some of those too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just bury your opponent.
Every creature was a 2-for-1. Yeah.
Yeah. And like again, like those decks like can weather the storm against aggro.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because okay, like your 3/2 trades with their 3/1,
yeah.
But you got a replacement card, and eventually you making all those trades, you're gonna end up with 3 cards in your hand and they're gonna have nothing.
Yep.
But then it also does pretty well against the bigger decks because you're like, fine, I guess I'll throw 2 things in front of this because one gave me a card, one's gonna get me a card on the way out.
Yeah.
Yes, I 2-for-1 myself, killing your 5/5, but I got to replace both of these cards.
Yeah. So you basically 2-for-1 your opponent.
Yeah. So eventually, I'm going to like again kind of be able to grind and recoup my value.
Yeah.
And get to the other side. But yeah, like the like just like a bunch of like whatever the 2 black instant speed removal spell card's good, but like not good enough to like withstand.
Right.
Like you've got to kill a 3/2 flyer.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then like you kill them with your like good removal spell, and they're like, okay, I'll get the best card out of my top 2.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, like I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I lost now. Like I can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird that like the like kind of like the control deck. I don't know how like blue black like survives. Like I've not played against a blue black control deck, really.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one, but like I can't imagine drafting one.
Well, I mean, the one that I drafted wasn't really a control deck. It was just like a pile of 2-for-1s that.
Yeah.
Won
Well,
the
what I
game
mean
eventually.
is like a like the blue black archetype is like
it's
control,
supposed to be
right?
control, yeah.
Like you can't just play a bunch of like, like you play Tribute to Urborg.
Mm-hmm.
You kill your opponent's 2-drop. Okay. Then your red white opponent plays a 3-mana 2/2 that makes a 1/1.
Yeah.
You kill one of them. Then the next turn they play a 1 card that makes 3 creatures, and you're like, I have a bunch of like spot removal.
Right.
I'm dead to 3 and a white, make 3 1/1s. I can't beat that card.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just get in this bad spot where you're just like, oh, there's nothing I can do here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how that deck can work.
Yeah. I haven't seen a
everything giving you
functional
so much-
version of it.
No, I had what I thought was a good blue-white deck and got smushed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this format is not about me doing this.
Right.
Like, so like I said, I feel like So like I just think about Keldheim, and I might have mentioned this before. So you remember when Keldheim turned into like red, like the white 1 mana like 1/2 first strike bird,
Mm-hmm.
and the stupid like helm that if something got blocked, the equipment,
Yeah.
it, right? And like every game was you either played against 5 colors snow, or you played against 1 drop into 1 drop into 1 drop into equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the whole format.
Yeah.
This runs the risk of doing that.
Yeah, I don't like the actual 5-color deck. I haven't run into as often as like you did in Keldheim.
Yeah.
I've certainly run into 3-color, like maybe stretching to 4-color domain.
Mhm.
But I think I've only seen one of the 5-color decks so far.
Yeah, no, that might not be as well supported,
Well,
but
I think
like,
there's more competition for the lands too. Like every deck wants the dual lands, and I think they're getting drafted like pretty high in the pick order.
yeah.
It's not. I don't think I've had a draft yet that I've like last picked gotten like a land because nobody else wanted it. They're always
No.
gone long before the dregs of the pack.
And like my domain deck, I was like, okay. Like I like there was a few times I passed the lands
Yeah.
and was like, oh, like pack 3, I'm gonna really focus on taking the lands.
And then you never got
And
them.
there were just no lands on pack 3 because I think everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
And I think a thing to remember, and I need to remind myself, is right. We're in Modern Limited.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of playables.
Yes.
Like the things that are less replaceable
Mhm.
are the lands. Right. There are a ton of like, 4-mana 4/4s with like keyword.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't matter which one of those you have, but there's only like one red-green dual.
Right.
So there are probably times where if you are in this deck, you should stop and think and go, hey, I need to take red-green dual land here because I'm going to get 3 and a green 4/4 reach at some other point.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get this card somewhere else because no one's going to go into, like, pack 3 and go like, oh, man, I just need 3 and a green 4/4 reach.
Right.
Right?
But they are going
But
to go,
everyone's-
oh, I need the green-black dual land or the green-red dual land or whatever.
Or I'm like domain. I have all these domain payoffs. I need any land that has land types on it. So I'm just going to take those.
Yeah.
So, like, try to prioritize your lands earlier because there are just way more playables now. There's no reason to think you're going to be short playables. Like, there's not been a draft where at the end of it, I've been like, whew, I need to go add some cards for my sideboard because I'm short.
Oh, me neither.
Right?
I've
It's
been
always
struggling
like
to make cuts every single draft.
it's like I've got 44 playables here.
Yeah.
What do I want to cut?
Yeah.
And right, like if you had 42 playables and an extra land or two,
Mhm.
your deck's probably better.
Right.
Even if you're 2 colors. And you have less cuts to make, so your life's easier.
Yep.
Also, right, like most of the cards with kicker are fine without their kicker cost.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Banala Sleeper, right? We've had one of the white 3/1
Yep.
in every set for like the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Card's fine.
Right.
It's not great. It's fine. Right? But it has the kicker cost where it becomes a Fleshback Marauder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes, like, you're going to play a red-white deck and maybe have 2 black sources in it because you have a red-black duel and a white-black duel.
Right.
Right? And there's a lot of times where you're just turn 2, 3/1, go.
Yep.
Right? But then later in the game, you might have the option to kick it, and, like, it might be meaningful. So, like, people are going to take those lands, even if they're not those specific 2 colors,
To try and
because
get the
they
kicker.
have,
Yeah.
because, like, they have, like, well, I'm happy playing this card without playing its kicker, but it'd be super neat if I got to pay the kicker cost once.
Right. At some point
So
over the course of
yeah,
this
I'm-
draft.
yeah, I'm gonna have 2 lands or even a land
Mm-hmm.
that lets me do this. Just on the
Yeah, if
off
you're going
chance
to
that
play the
like
card anyway, then it's kind of a
yeah,
no-brainer just to throw in a dual land that is the off color.
it's like I want a 2 mana 3/1.
Yep.
But sometimes, but like if once I get to like kick it and they sack their only creature,
Yep.
amazing, I
Yep.
did it. So the lands just go way higher than they normally would because of the off-color kicker costs.
Yep.
And
So,
let's say,
oh god.
Crystalline Grotto.
Yeah.
Like I think if you have decks that have like a single off-color, like mana kicker cost,
Like a
like if you
two-color
have
deck with like 1 or 2 off-color cards.
yeah, like or off-color kickers, like
Yeah.
I think that card is okay there because what it's doing is it's taking your Benevolent Sleeper and taking it from like 1 white black to 2 white black,
Yeah.
and that effect is still fine at 2 white black,
Mhm.
right? But the situations where it's like, you know, the like if you were white black and you had Heroic Charge,
Right.
right? You're never going to pay like you could maybe like dream of like, oh, I have the red white land, so I could pay
5.
3. It ends up being 6, right? 3 white red with the kicker because it's 1 on the white or 1 on the red for the kicker.
Is it 1? I thought it was just a single red. Maybe it's 1.
I thought it was, but let's see. Actually, I know this one. It is 1 on the red. Like I know
Okay.
the name of this one. Right, like you could maybe talk yourself into saying like, oh, if I have my like off-color land,
Yeah.
fine. But like with Crystalline Grotto, you're not getting to effectively 4 white red
Right.
right in your aggro black white deck. Right? So like if you have like a single, if they're like the single pip, I think it's fine, but when you add that 1, I think the Grotto gets significantly worse.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about like the hidden archetypes, and we've kind of touched on a couple other ones. What archetypes are overperforming? Like what are the ones that you want to try and get into, and the ones that you want to try and stay away from?
I think the archetypes that are like 1 for 1, I've not seen blue black at all. Like a hard blue black control deck, just have not seen it. I think blue white, I've not really like the blue white decks I've seen like were basically like flyers.
Mm-hmm.
But like the blue white, like I've not seen anyone play like Wrath.
Yeah.
Like the like go wide spells archetype, I've not seen that. I've not seen like control be like viable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like the 1 for 1 things are not great, and I think like if you're gonna go wide with white, it just pairs better with red.
With red, yeah, I agree.
Right, because like blue white go wide is kind of like trying to like mid range grind you, and you run the risk of getting run over by red white and gone over the top of by the domain decks.
Yeah.
So you're like in this weird spot. I keep coming back to it, but I think red white is the best aggressive deck.
I mean, I've had really good luck with Rakdos, but yeah, like some version of Mardu. That kind of like goes into what my next question was going to be, is like how many actual 2-color decks have you seen? I think like maybe early in the format. I say that the format's 4 days old or whatever, but like on the first couple days, I saw, a bunch of people playing just 2-color decks. But the last couple days, like I think more and more people are playing either hard 3-color or 2-color splashing a third. And I think part of that is for what we were just talking about. There's so many like off-color kicker cards that you're kind of incentivized to play like a third color. But like, what have you seen? Have you seen? I've
like the 2-color decks I've seen are almost exclusively red white.
Yeah.
Like I've got they want to go like stupid 2 mana 2/2 into like, the 2/2 that makes a 1/1 into like the red white uncommon and then kill you on turn 5.
Yeah.
Like, and they like, I want to hit exactly 4 lands, and I want them to be white, red. Like, that's what I want. if I do this, I'm gonna win, 60% of my games or whatever. But other than that, like really not that many 2-color decks at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that what happened is that everyone went in and was like, "Oh, I'm going to play. What are the archetypes? Let me draft an
Yeah.
archetype."
Well, so
And
that's
they,
another thing. I don't know if you notice this or not, but when you go to sign up for a draft, the archetypes are in like the text that's on the screen. Like you can scroll through and the archetypes are right there.
oh, I've never noticed that.
I don't think they used to be. I think that's new.
Okay, I mean, if you want to make people feel more comfortable about doing a draft,
Mhm.
right? Just put it up in front of them, like, here's what we think you're supposed to draft. We think you're supposed to draft death and aggression.
Yeah.
Well, I draft the skull and the fire. Okay. Um, but I've not really, like I said, the if you're mid range, you're more than 2 colors.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're aggro, I think I've only played against a handful of red black decks.
Oh man.
Maybe only one or two.
I think people are sleeping on that one then. I really haven't come across many either, but I've been like absolutely killing it with like red black splash white or black white splash red or the those uncommons. They're no joke. And that kind of goes into I guess the next thing that I wanted to talk about was if there's any specific cards that you think are, overperforming or underperforming. And the one I'll start with are the red black uncommons. I think Garna and the hand of the Legate or whatever his name is, they're both kind of bonkers.
The guy that
Makes a 2/1 every turn.
yeah, I've not like that card has like been fine, but it also sometimes just throws a 2-1 into uh into you and doesn't do anything.
Well, that's all the deck wants to do though. Like you draw a
Yeah.
card when your thing dies, or you get to scry one when the thing dies, or you get a thing that gets bigger when something enters the battlefield, or like just making that body every turn is almost better than attacking with it.
Yeah, I guess that I guess when I've seen it in play, I've not seen the rest of the synergies around it.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like I've not seen the like, oh man, it's gonna suck when they sack this because they're gonna get extra value. It's just been like they make a 2-1, they attack into my 5/5, and I block it, and nothing happens, and we do that for like 2 turns.
Oh, no,
it's
that
like,
definitely hasn't been my experience with that card.
You've drafted now. Granted, I started in bronze 4.
So did I.
We're at gold now, so I don't
I just
like
hit
maybe.
platinum.
Oh, I'm a few drafts behind you.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Well, I'm sure you're gonna outpace me. I'll probably get sick of this format in a couple days and be done.
Oh, I think this should hopefully hold me for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm going through the uncommons. Knight of Dusk Shadow.
Is that the black with menace?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And randomly has your opponent can't gain life.
Yeah, that's actually bitten me.
I've had that clause lose me games.
Yeah.
And win me games. Like one of my drafts was just like, why is this here? Like I heard about it, and I knew the card existed, but now that I'm like, I've not gained like 4 life this game, I'm upset that it exists.
Yeah.
Like, why is this?
I kicked that 3-mana red damage spell. And my opponent had one of those on the battlefield. And I was like, no!
Heartloom, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, Heartloom battle him. Yeah. And you're like, why didn't I gain my life? It's like, oh jeez.
I paid the kicker and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's how I was gonna survive the crackback.
Yeah. Nishaba Brawler?
The 2-mana 0/3 with domain makes power equal to your land types or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I've just had that thing like be a menace where you're just like they like play it on turn 2 and they attack as like a 3/3 on turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, what am I? And then they attack as a 4/3 on turn 4. And like, what am I supposed to? I can't do anything here.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Yep.
I've only seen it kicked once, but like Phyrexian Missionary, Just
I don't think I've ever seen that one kicked yet.
the one in the like just a one in the white 2/3 lifelinker
Yeah.
that just has the out of being a gravedigger late in the game.
Yeah. I've never
Right,
seen
like-
it kicked, but that card's a pain in the ass.
Right, like it's one of those like cards that is like good against the aggressive decks. It's like, oh, you have an army of 2/2s?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like I played this on 2. I like took care of your next 3 plays.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you gonna do? Attack me with like 2 2/2s? I'll eat one and lose no life.
Yeah.
Okay, neat. So few of these I've actually seen play, which is weird. I think Runic Shot is really good.
Which
Like
one's
1 mana
that?
kill a tapped creature.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right? Like that's like 2 mana off what that normally costs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, throw a blue on it and you get to scry.
Sure.
Why? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
some of
something
these
that I
I've, like-
kind of had to like train myself for, was like seeing the off-color kicker and thinking, oh, that
Yeah.
doesn't go in my deck. But like a lot of the kicker cards are fine on the front half, and the kicker's just a bonus.
They're adventure cards.
Yeah.
Right? Remember when we talked about like adventure and like Bone Crusher Giant? It was like, well, like the spell half is not embarrassing, and then the creature half is good, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be playable. Now it's for limited, but it's like, you know, like I have this split card. This half of the split card is fine.
Yep.
If I never cast the other half, I'm happy with this side of the split card.
Yep.
And every time I get to cast the other side of the split card, it's just griefy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like don't think of them as like, oh, I'm not red black, so I can't play this card. It's like, no. You have mountains in your deck. You can cast Warhost Frenzy.
Yeah. Or
Doesn't matter
the
if you can
trumpet
kick it.
blast is like, it's just
Yeah,
trumpet
that's-
blast, and then there's a kicker. Like the card is
Warhost
literal.
Frenzy is
Yeah. But it's literal
Trumpet
trumpet
blast.
blast.
it is strictly better Trumpet Blast.
And like trumpet blast isn't, I mean, it's not always, a B, but it's at times playable.
Yeah, like there are definitely formats like this one where
Mhm.
like it's easy to get 6 tokens on the battlefield
Oh yeah, everything brings a buddy.
and murder your opponent on turn 4 or 5. Like you're just like, how? Well, I guess I have all these tokens. I guess you die now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, cool, neat. Next game.
And even if they don't die, you draw a bunch of cards. So
Territorial Morrow
Mhm.
is always a 10/10.
it's always huge. I don't think I've ever seen it smaller than a 6/6.
Yeah, it's always just giant. I
Yeah.
know it's a giant vanilla, but it's always just giant.
Well, it's really hard to kill in this format.
Yeah, there's like you've got like the black like unconditional removal spell and then a couple of the white exile based removal. There's 2.
Well, there's the
There's
2 mana
Citizen's
like
Arrest.
kill something with toughness 4 or greater.
Yeah, which has actually been surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you play against the walls deck, it gets them.
Mhm.
And like if you play against a white deck, there's enough like enchantment based removal that you can get them.
Yeah.
And same with the sagas.
Yep.
There's a lot of getting them in the format.
How have you felt about the sagas? Have you played any of the read ahead sagas?
So we were in our feeling things out stage, and
Mhm.
I played Founding the Third Path.
Mhm.
And my blue white deck is like, this is a bad Snapcaster.
Yeah.
And it's a bad Snapcaster. Now, I played against it in Constructed. It's interesting in Constructed.
Yeah.
And like Explorer. They remember is it C the like sorcery speed anticipate that if you cast it from anywhere else you draw 3 cards?
Oh, yeah.
I had an opponent like Founding the First Path, cast that as their free spell,
That is
and
interesting.
then a couple turns later, 2 mana, draw 3.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And I was like, that's neat. I don't know if it's the right shell, but that's neat.
Yeah.
Not that it's overperformed, but I think Frostfish Strider is as good as everyone thought it was going to be in Limited.
Yeah.
And then Impede Momentum.
That's the
I don't know if
stun.
I don't know if it's overperforming in my eyes. Now, I haven't drafted it because I've not drafted the right deck for it, but like once.
Yeah.
But it is hard removal if you're aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to end the game on turn 5, then like your creature's just not going to untap.
Yeah. Or, you have the situation where, right, we've all like had our opponent sleep our board and just basically it was a wrath because we never got to untap again.
Right.
Right? This sometimes is just like terminate. But because they did it on turn 5 and you were dead on turn 8.
Right.
And your creature never untapped. So, like, it takes the right kind of deck, but that card has been just like, oh, I guess I'm dead here now. They never untapped. I've pointed it out, like, in some of my videos. I'm like, you see here? It was just Doomblade.
Yeah.
So, it takes the right deck, but definitely, I also the blue-red uncommon, the flying guy. Balmore. I had a game, I think I mulled to 5 or 6 and killed my opponent on turn 4.
Wow, that's impressive.
On turn 4 or 5, I do it like creature into this and then just like cast like 3 spells and won the game. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that was easy. Yeah, it was like 2 creatures, lightning strike you, attack.
Yeah.
Lightning strike you, kill you. I was like, oh, okay. Like when your lightning strikes deal 5, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. That's a good return on your investment.
Yeah, it's like if you were playing, I mentioned this in the pre-show, like if you're playing like best of 3, like I think like choking miasma goes up in your pick order. Right, like if you're black and you see a choking miasma, I've picked them up super late or seen them super late.
I've also seen them real late.
They are awful against like half the format. And the other half the format, they're Wrath of God.
Yeah.
And like if you're playing best of 3, like having one of these in the board of your black deck, sometimes you just have 3 mana Wrath of God and it wins you the game.
Yep.
But in in like best of 1, you're kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah.
I definitely did a draft where I was just like, come on, mountain. Show me a mountain. They show me a mountain, I'll be like, yes, these cards are live. And then Cleaving Skyrider, I didn't realize it hit players. And I got like blasted out of a game.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this hits players.
I mean, it's also like 6 mana if you kick it, but
very true. But still, I was like, huh.
Yeah. I mean, it's really no surprise, so I don't know if they're really overperformers, but like all of the creatures that like bring a buddy are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like resolute reinforcements.
Yeah, lots of things to do with those little bodies.
Yeah, either sack them or I did lose a game because I cast a spell pre-combat and my opponent was at 1 and they got to cast Protect the Negotiators. I had 3 creatures. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like reanimate the black-white uncommon.
Yeah.
Elise. So like if something happens, I'll still get the ping and I'll win the game. Did not play around them getting a blocker and then killing me in the air. And I was like, oh man, if I would have attacked.
Yep.
Like, now if I would have attacked, I would have had a removal spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, this is wrong, but I was like, this is bad. Well, the Coalition Sky Knight, I'm just looking at uncommons. Like, the 2/2 flyer with Enlist. Right? Like, sometimes it's just a 6/2.
Yep.
And they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I don't think it's really going to translate well to Constructed, but in Limited, Enlist is way better than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of cold on Enlist when we were doing the mechanics episode. It's really good. I think 2 mana 1/3 Vigilant Enlist guy is a pain in the ass. The big trampling red enlist guy is a pain in
Mhm.
the ass. The flying enlist guy is a pain in the ass.
I think that the reason they are like the reason Enlist is in the format is because they seeded the wall stick,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you didn't have Enlist, like you you play your 2/2, I play Coral whatever Coral Wall, and it's a 1/4, right? You never get through
Right.
Coral Colony, right? But with Enlist, you can make your 2-drop big enough to
Yeah.
either trade with my wall or just kill it outright.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's there. Like the problem with Enlist is your 2/2 still trades with my 2/2.
Right.
Your 3/4 still trades with my 4/4,
Well,
or now trades with my 4/4.
yeah, I specifically mentioned, and I'm only realizing this now, that I specifically mentioned only the ones with keywords.
The ones with evasion,
Yeah.
or yeah, like flying and trample,
Yeah.
effectively. Like flying is evasion.
Yeah.
Trample kind of evasion.
Yeah.
Right. But like just the regular vanilla one, it's harder.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, all right, I'm gonna like run this into your thing and trade.
Yeah.
Like that's why I took that flyer like pack one pick one, because I was like, well, this sometimes is just like a 4/2 flyer that they can't block.
Yeah.
And I'll win the game that way.
Yeah.
So what are cards? I'm trying to think of what are cards that have disappointed?
Oh, the biggest disappointment that I've had is one of my favorite cards from Spoilers, I think. Phoenix Chick has done like nothing good for me.
I lost the game to a Phoenix Chick, if that makes you feel better.
It makes me feel a little bit better, but
They brought it like I should have killed their creature pre-combat, and I was like, I didn't, and I was like, oh no, they get to bring up the chick. Oh no, I'm dead now. In that like I kind of know what the cards do, but I don't know what the cards do. Like phase of like
Yeah.
limited. Yeah. Singear Connoisseur.
the one that gets bigger when
just-
things die.
It's just awful.
All right.
Like-
I mean, I'm not gonna call it like a B or anything, but
Like
I've had it do work for me.
I just had opponents play it, and I'm just like lightning strike it. Like
Yeah.
I played it, and I was like, watch this. This is why this card is bad. I'm gonna spend 2 mana and just eliminate their entire turn.
Yeah.
Right, like right beside it in the picks, there's Shalai's Acolyte, which is 4 on a white for a 3/4.
Mhm.
Right, like it has to go onto the battlefield. Like the Connoisseur, unless something dies, trades with the 3/2, the 2
Yeah.
blue 3/2 flyer. Like it doesn't seem to matter enough.
Yeah.
Right, like for what you're paying for it, you're not getting enough out of it. You have to wait till something dies.
Yeah.
And like your opponent has agency sometimes over like what dies. They can like block in such a way that they're not trading
Mhm.
if they're really worried about it.
I don't know. In my experience, there's always been something to die, though. You
Yeah.
always have like a soldier kicking around, or like I said, that whatever his name is that makes a 2/1 every turn.
Mhm. Again, you've drafted better versions of that deck than I have played against.
Yeah.
So like that might be it. Like I've not drafted that deck.
Yeah.
And I've not played against a good version of it.
Yeah.
The Red Defiler.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the pre-show. Like it is kind of at like uncommon power level.
I mean, I would definitely say it's worse than some of the uncommons.
It's like it's a 2 red 4/4 first striker
Mhm.
with like a block of flavor text.
I'd rather have Garna.
Oh, the 4/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like I played it and I was just like, I think I pinged my opponent once, but like your hand's kind of empty by the time you play it.
Yeah.
Like a 4 mana 4/4 first striker is good,
Mhm.
but like it's to the point of like if you're not caring about rare drafting, and like that's your rare, there's a chance that you like should take an uncommon over it.
Yeah.
Or like even like a good common removal spell.
Mm-hmm. It's not something
'Cause
that's going to pull you into red.
Yeah, you're just like, this is fine, but like you're not super excited when you like play it to be like, oh man, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not super impressed with it.
The black one was really good. In limited, at least. Like, the menace matters, and pumping like irrelevant guys matters, and there's enough like cheap black creatures where you can, the turn after it comes down, pay 6 life and give menace to your entire board.
I've not seen that one. I played against the blue one. I don't think they drew a card with it.
Yeah, I played against the blue one and they died.
Yeah. I'm looking through the rares now. Oh, like Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief. I've opened that like once as pack 1 pick 1 and just was like, I can't take this.
Which one's that?
And then the blue green 2/1 flying that if a player casts a spell that targets a single creature, you can copy it and have it target Ivy.
Yeah, I don't think I've even seen, or if I did see it, I haven't paid attention.
I saw someone go completely and totally off with it one game.
Yeah.
And then just like, and then another game I've seen people just not do anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rares that like I look at and I'm just like, this doesn't do anything in limited.
The red-green 3-mana, red-green 3/3 that like wants you to tap artifacts.
Mira, Scholar of Antiquity. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a common. It's a hill giant.
Yeah. I had one opponent. Well, it's better than a Hell Giant because it's only 3 mana, but.
Oh, what is it? It's Gregor then?
Well, Gregor is a 2/2.
Okay.
So it's fire
So,
design Hill Giant.
Fine. Okay.
But I had one opponent that went like whatever the Yosha saga is.
Mm-hmm.
They went one of those into another one of those into the red-green guy and then died.
Yeah. Like if you this format is like slow, but like you do have to do something on turn 2 and turn 3.
Yeah. And like
Right.
realistically, I think that's probably best case scenario for that card. And it just didn't do anything.
I'm just scrolling through the rares. Not that it's super surprising, but like I've passed multiple Leaf Crown Visionaries, like just not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear about what Leyline Binding is doing in Modern?
No, what's it doing in Modern?
It like was in multiple top like 8 decks, I think, in both challenges, or it won both challenges. I've cast it in limited for 1 multiple times.
Good.
Right, like in standard, you just go like Triome, and you just have like Source of Plowshares.
Yep.
Like pretty easily. To the point where I'm like, do I have enough white sources in my stupid elementals deck to take out a Braid and play this?
Maybe.
Like, it's super weak to Beseiju, but still, it does way more than a Braid does.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cute Kalidas. Boom.
Gone.
He gone. Let me see here. I'm just looking at the Squee was way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I haven't seen Squee yet.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I've not played against a lot of the rares.
Yeah, well, I mean, rares
Like,
you don't.
Yeah, but like those are the things that like you usually get like hyped for. So I'm just trying to look through cards and be like, what are the cards that like I've been like impressed with?
Have you played? Was it Cut Down or whatever? Have you played that yet?
I've not played it. I've played against it. It's been
fine.
Fine. Yeah, like it is like in that weird. It's always fatal push.
Mm-hmm.
And then almost always fatal push. I guess like the Shivan Devastator makes it not fatal push.
Yeah.
Right. But then there are other times where it is like it's getting 3 and 4 drops.
Yeah.
But like you can always count on it to be fatal push, which is probably good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a card that has overperformed.
Oh, what's that?
Is it Urborg Reclamation?
Oh,
Is that what
yeah,
it is?
yeah.
That so like this is this is a format that you need a stupid like draw to,
Mm-hmm. That
right?
is a
Like
stupid draw too.
at the end of the game, you just want to like draw that card and go like, sweet.
Yep.
I'm gonna draw 2 cards now. I'm gonna draw 2 spells, and they're gonna win me the game.
I'm gonna get my bomb back in a blocker. I'm gonna play my blocker.
Like I was like, I'm gonna get back a Phyrexian Rager and a Phyrexian Rager, and I'm going to like 4-for-1 you this turn. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So, like that card is overperformed. We already talked about Shadow Prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that card's been fantastic.
Like if you are like touching 3 colors, like I had played a deck with Phyrexian Espionage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person I think I've seen cast this card. Maybe one other person has, but I haven't seen it in a while.
I've seen it a few times.
But it's not like as ubiquitous as you would think like the set Divination would be.
Right. You know what I've
Right,
actually seen more than that is the set Mind Rot.
Oh yeah.
That I've seen a bunch of times.
I've main decked that a few times and like
Yep.
just been like, my whole goal here is to get their last 2 cards.
Yep.
So I had someone Tolarian Terror me into back-to-back Molten whatevers.
Oof.
Yeah. And like that's the deck I would have put together. Like I've just not like found it yet, but I'm like, yeah. Like they just went Tolarian Serpent or whatever it is, and then they were like, next turn 2 Molten Monstrosities. So I was like, you did it, sir. You've won.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm gonna pick him up now.
Yep.
It's been a good run. All of the like cost reducing creatures are better than I thought they would be. Right, like,
I haven't seen the green one, I don't think at all.
Okay.
But the black one's
Fair.
been good, the blue one's been good, the red one's been good, and the white one's been good.
Yes. Those ones have been good. I will say, have never seen the green one.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in draft, but I've never seen someone cast it.
Yes, I've never seen it put on the stack.
Yeah.
There are better things to do in your I have 5 different land types deck.
Yeah.
Than cast a vanilla 4/6.
Yep.
So there's no reason to. But like I had swept my opponent and they just like 1 mana Necromass and I was like, oh,
yeah.
I've got to deal with this now.
Yep. For some reason the thing has Death Touch.
So they did posit a good reason for it on limited resources.
Oh yeah, what'd they say?
So how do you get rid of a 5/5? You block it with 2 3/3s.
Mm-hmm.
It has Death Touch. It gets both.
Okay.
Right? Or you block it with a 4/4 and a 2/2.
Yeah.
Right? Like one-on-one blocking, yes. Like having Death Touch is dumb. It kills everything it attacks.
Yeah.
That blocks it. But if you double block it and make sure you get 2 things for it.
Yeah. All right.
Which I was like, okay, I will give you that.
Yeah.
Does
your 2 mana 5/5 need that though?
I mean, fire, man.
Yeah, that's right. Fire design.
Don't necessarily need it, but you know, it's good to have.
Yep.
When I talked about Clockwork Bridge,
and
there are just some cards that like I've just never seen.
Yeah.
Right, like like Elf Hamworm, never seen it.
I've seen that a few times. Oh, you know what got me once is I drafted a Guardian and New Benalia. The 2 mana 2/2 rare enlist guy. And whenever it enlists something, you scry. And I thought that it was the Lord, so I drafted a bunch of soldiers.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, it ended up fine for me anyway, because like Failcase was just, a mediocre red-white deck, but
yeah. And like a mediocre red-white deck can fall backwards into 4 wins pretty easily.
Yeah. It was just awkward that like I was specifically like reading the type line of cards looking for soldiers and like, making suboptimal picks to prioritize soldiers, and
Yeah.
was not the Lord.
I definitely had. If it makes you feel better, I definitely have a play where my opponent cast impede momentum
Mhm.
on my creature, and I'd spent like the whole game holding up take up the shield,
Yeah.
and I cast take up the shield thinking it gave hexproof,
Oh.
and I gave something lifelink and a counter and indestructible, and it was tapped for 3 turns. And I was like, well, that's immortalized on the internet forever now.
Whoops.
So my bad. I don't know why I thought it gave hexproof. It's because of shore up.
Yeah.
And I think those 2 cards are actually like those cards are way better than they used to be.
Yeah.
Like the 1 or 2 mana protection thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because so many of your cards are so good now.
Yeah.
That it's like worth playing a little bit off curve to be like, well, I can play a different 5-drop here, because next turn I can hit my land and have 5-drop plus shore up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll spend their 1 removal spell. I'll cast shore up. My guy won't die, and then I'll win the game.
Yeah.
Because my busted card got to survive a turn. Or like, there's been a couple games where like I've been like, all right, I'm gonna cast this because I think they have Essence Scatter. And I'd rather have this garbage card Essence Scattered than my good card.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it gets Essence Scattered, then slam the other one.
Yep.
But like, they're both like, because of how good cards have gotten, like both take up the shield and shore up. Just the fact that you can like save a creature is such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, because like they all are just like mountains of value.
Right.
Especially like rares, they're mountains of like recurring value.
Yeah.
Their text is just like, draw a card each turn, discard a land,
Your
return a
spells
creature.
cost 2
like,
less.
yeah, and it's like, okay, like I kind of want to make sure that stays around for 2 turns and like buries you.
Yeah.
Like artillery, like another domain card that you don't think about is like artillery blast. You randomly have a planes and then you like attack and you just get your thing like 5'd.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, like that was not even on my radar when I attacked with this.
Yeah, that
So-
card's been pretty good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, Haunting Figment, like, I don't know if I expected it to be good, but I don't know how good, like, the blue-red spells deck is. I drafted it once and it was fine.
I tried to draft it once. Pick 1 and pick 2 were both the dwarf that gets counters,
Oh, gosh, okay.
and like the rest of the deck never came together, so I ended up
Mhm.
with a mediocre red-white deck again.
So this is why you're winning all of your games, is because you gravitated pretty quickly to the, if they don't hit their 3rd color, I win the game.
Well, I mean that's kind of my MO though. That's
Yeah, and I've gravitated towards, if I hit my 3rd color, I win every game.
so
And we're polar opposites.
like if you remember though, when we were talking about when we were doing kind of our Learn to Play series,
Mhm.
Part of what I brought to the table was a lot of times in limited, if you play 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, you win the game.
Yes.
More so than if you can, pull something together on turn 6. So
Mhm.
I think just in general, when I play limited, I kind of prioritize the like aggro slanted with a decent curve and
Yeah. Also, Flowstone Infusion.
Mhm.
It is just a removal spell.
Oh, I mean it's also a pump spell.
It is, but like, I typically don't take a bunch of pump spells in decks.
Yeah.
And I disappeared in the video there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
But I played a 2/2 and my opponent just killed it, and I went, "Oh my god! It is just a 1-mana removal spell."
Yeah.
It's that stupid black spell from
Oh, yeah.
whatever,
From Innistrad.
Strixhaven,
Oh, yeah, that too.
Lash of Malice.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh gosh!" Like if it was black, I would read it as like removal spell.
Mhm.
but because it was red, I read it as like pump spell I don't want. And I'm like, no, it is just bad removal spell. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I need to remember this.
Yep.
But I was like, they killed my thing, and I went,
Oh.
why didn't I think of this before? Oh, Get to Amplifier is absurd.
It is. I meant to talk about that card when I brought up about looking at cards with like an off-color kicker as just the card and not necessarily the kicker. Because that's one of them. I was staying away from that card at first because I kept looking at it and seeing, oh, that's the the spells
Blue-red
archetype.
card.
That's not for me. But no, it's just gets huge with every lightning strike that you play.
Yeah. I like in my head it was whatever the Get to card from the first Dominaria, right? That gets a spell back.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, whatever. And my opponent played it and bounced my creature, and I went, wait, this is it is 1 mana less.
Yeah.
To do that than the blue kicker card from Zendikar Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is just nuts. Like this exact and almost like was that a 3/2 though? I don't know. But I was like, this is like absurd.
Yeah.
That this card is only 5 mana to do that. And then becomes huge. It's like the best Kiln Fiend ever.
Mm-hmm.
Kiln Fiend is I think Kiln Fiend's +3/+0, right?
Right.
And we've scaled it back, and all cards now it's +2/+0.
Yeah.
Or what was the was it Festival Crasher?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
1/3 that gets +2/+0. So this is 1 less toughness, but also gives you the chance for your Festival Crasher to Mana War something.
Right.
That's really ridiculously good.
Yep.
So yeah, I was surprised when it bounced my thing, and I was like, "Oh God!"
Was not expecting it.
Yeah, did not know that was a thing that could happen.
Yep.
Lightning Strike is very respectable in this format.
I
Very respectable.
drafted highly. It is up there in the pick order.
Yeah, I was. I had a deck with 3, and I was like, I'm feeling good.
Yep.
I can't believe I got 3.
Yep.
But it is funny, just some of the cards. I'm like, I've never seen anyone play this before.
I haven't seen it. I mean, they're mythics, but I haven't seen a Sheoldred. I haven't seen a Lily. I haven't seen a Karn. I haven't seen a Johnny. I haven't seen
looking at the mythics,
Fireball Dragon.
See, what have I played against? I've played against Sheoldred twice. The Shivan Defiler, Silverback Elder.
I lost to that card once.
Don't remember if I beat it. I might not have. I was playing Walls. I think I just chump blocked forever with birds.
Yeah.
And then I had a Solkanar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I only gave it to my opponent once.
I drafted remember I told you I had one Jund deck that I also did poorly with. My pack 1 pick 1 was Sola Windgrace.
Okay.
It was not good.
It was not good?
No.
I think pack 3 opened Solkanar, or I got past it late, and I was like, I think I can cast this. Just put it in my deck. And then this would it was just all right, can I play this and get multiple cards? Can I play this and close the game fast enough that I'm not going to get to the 4th mode where I have to give it to my opponent?
Yeah.
And that happened all but one time I played it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no. And then I pulled it out, and I was like, whew.
Yeah,
That would have been embarrassing.
I windmill slammed a pack 1 pick 1 Sarah Paragon.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy 7-0.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in the best aggressive color, and I get to rebuy all of my stuff that died on the earlier turns.
Yep.
Seems good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not seen like any of the planeswalkers yet.
I saw a Jaya.
I've not seen any of them. I wonder how like the purifying blade uh like that card seems like it could be good, but I've not seen it.
Yeah. I've had multiple opponents cast a Vesuvan Duplimancy against me.
Really?
Yep. Did actual nothing anytime it resolved.
Oh yeah.
It was skip turn 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is one of those mythics that just does not play in limited.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, I am maybe an against the cards card. Like we mailed this one directly to Saffron. He's been working on that deck for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a commander card.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like Necro Duality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, guess what? Like, well, Necro Duality you could win limited games with.
Right.
Like, so what do you need? Well, I need to draw my 4-mana enchantment. Okay. I need to have a bunch of creatures that I can target. Okay. But then I need a bunch of pump spells.
Yeah.
To target them. So my deck needs to be like 14 creatures, 7 pump spells, and this 4-mana do nothing enchantment. Interesting. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've played against multiple Shieldreds and like they did like nothing that mattered.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Shieldred yet, but I imagine most of the decks that I've played would fold to a Shieldred.
Yeah, I guess like the gain 2 life.
Yeah.
Like the decks I've played against, I think I lost to one, but then I had one I was like, I don't care what your life total is, I'm going to beat you eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll take 2. I'll play a land. I played a land, cast the ramp spell, got more lands, let them gain 2 life, sacked my creature to Shieldred to save my life total, and then wiped the board. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, you dealt me 4 damage with your stupid thing.
Yeah.
Neat. It's 4 mana for 4 damage is not a good rate.
Right.
So, yeah. But like, it'd be cool if I played against like a Zur the Enchanter deck. Oh, I have a card. Like, I don't know if anyone expected this to be good. The stupid red-white rare. Aster, Bearer of Blades.
Oh yeah.
The card has literal no text.
Yeah.
I had my opponent resolve it, and then look at the bottom 7 cards of their library.
Yeah, there's not enough equipment or vehicle in this deck.
Like I was going through it like in one of my drafts, and I was like, look at the equipment.
Yeah.
Like, and the equipment that we do have, like the equip costs aren't that high.
Right.
Right. So like, I'm taking 1 off the equip cost of like bad equipment.
Yeah.
Like, why do I care?
No, that's
Like,
a bad card.
And I have seen so many chaotic transformations.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate this card. Why do I keep opening it?
Mm-hmm.
This is not fair. Why do I keep getting bad, unplayable rares?
I have ended up with a playset of them.
Wow.
They've just been like gone around the table until there's nothing left in the pack.
Pick 9, you're like, fine.
Yep.
Vault progress.
Well, it's gems, man. They're a rare.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yep.
So one more thing. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I was like, you know what I'm gonna do this time? I did 1 draft, and then I was like, screw it. I'm gonna like craft every common and uncommon.
Oh, okay.
And I started clicking through the stupid like crafting interface.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. So what I did is I made a deck that was every common and uncommon.
And like, then you craft all.
Yeah, I just started clicking 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, like clicked every card, hit craft all. Crafted 676 cards. And I was like, excellent. So I have what my vault progress was after draft 1 because I forgot to write it down. So I can tell you what your draft progress is or vault progress is if you craft all the commons and uncommons. What you can hope to get.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's not worth it, but it's the only way to like upscale your wild cards, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably doesn't make too big of a difference, and I've tracked it in other sets, but we'll see. Well, with this, I think we have an hour and a half long show.
Yeah, we got a show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the limited content. It doesn't happen super often, so I know we're happy to make it when we have a chance to.
Yeah. Like, this seems like it could be an interesting format. I just hope... I think there's enough going on that it won't break into aggro versus 5-color piles.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough, like, interesting other things.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is I don't think it's an all-timer like
Original
Kamigawa
Dominaria?
was, or yeah, original Dominaria or Cons or whatever, but I think it's fun enough. It'll probably have my interest for another week or so.
Yeah. Hey, that's plenty.
Yep.
Then you can start telling us about how good Lily is in various formats on Arena.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't seen any yet, but
I've played against a couple.
yeah.
Well, I had my opponent in back-to-back games get their Lily Jawari disruption on turn 3.
Oops.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad. It's like, yeah, these things happen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like, so, all right. If you want to get at us on social media, maybe there's a card that you think's doing really well and limited. Let us know. Reach out. Like, get on the Discord and tell us, like, hey, you missed this. All those links are in the description below.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking to support the show, like if you're looking to pick up any singles from this set, there's a real easy way you can support the show. TCG player affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Just navigate to TCG player using that link, and anything you purchase after that we'll get a percentage of to help the show out. If you want to support us a little bit more directly, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. You can chip a couple bucks in if you think we're doing a good job and get access to our pre-show, our show notes, and get put in our mailing list for all the fun goodies I've been putting out. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube channel for Brian's draft videos, Casual Tryhard MTG on YouTube. And I don't think I have anything else, do you?
No. So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internets.